This video, we're going to show you how to use images to check things like scale drawing and to use some geometry. So this is a activity where they have a table that lists the moons and the planets. Pluto, we're not sure it's a planet, but was listed anyway, and the diameter. And the question is, here's this image that we've, if you click on it, it's been inserted into a geometry sticky. And the question is this image to scale based on the measurements? And so this is where we're going to be using circles and measurement to check this, if this is to scale. And if it's not to scale, could you make a more accurate drawing? So then we're going to use our geometry tools. So we're just going to walk through a couple things here. So one thing is we have diameter, so maybe we want to have the radius, because when you are measuring with circles in geometry, you can actually measure the radius. And so let's convert these diameters into radii. So I'm going to make my third column be radius. And instead of taking each number and dividing it by 2, which is certainly something you could do with the calculator, let's use our ability to define. So I'm going to take my calculator out, but I'm going to say, let's define that radius. So here, notice it matches it exactly. And we're going to use colon equal, and it's going to be the diameter divided by 2, right? So by defining it here in the calculate, instead of having to do one at a time, this is now going to do all the calculations in one step for us. So when I hit execute, you'll see that it makes a list in the calculate. So here I have this list, but then it puts the list into my table. So I've got everything ready to go. So now we kind of know what the radii should be. So then let's think about perhaps we want to pull up a graph sticky, because what we're really testing is this accurate? So are the diameters and the ratios correct? But really what we need to do is the ratio between two planets correct? Because obviously these are not necessarily going to have that specific measure we're looking for. So are the ratios correct? Right? So that's what we're looking for. So maybe we can get the calculator sticky out again, and let's just do one of the ratios. Let's do Earth to Jupiter, right? So if we put Jupiter's radius of 5.605, so I'm just pulling that from the table, and divide it by Earth's radius, which is 0.5, the ratio should be 11.21, right? So that's what I should get for the ratio if this drawing comparing Earth and Jupiter, if we just look at those two, is correct. So let's actually use our geometry now to make some circles around. So let's do Jupiter first. So let's make a circle. And it doesn't have to be exact because you can see it's off. So then once you draw it, you can then kind of adjust it and make it fit. So that's a pretty good representation of Jupiter. Let's change the color maybe. So properties will let you change the color. So Earth's blue, so let's maybe do a green circle around Earth. And again, we can adjust it so that it's a slightly better fit just by moving things. All right, so I have my two circles, and now let's measure them. So let's measure, so to measure a circle in Classpad, you're going to select the circle, so see how it's highlighted, go to measurement, and you can measure area, circumference, radius. Well, we care about the radius right now, right? So our radius in this particular image is 1.39, which doesn't match here, but that's fine. And now let's measure the radius of this green of Earth. Right, and that measures 0.76. So the question is this ratio the same as this ratio? Is it 11.21 relationship? So let's just check that out. So we could pull our calculator up here again and do it right here. So 1.39, and I already know that it's not going to be, just because I understand numbers. It looks like it's maybe twice. So 1.8, not even close. So obviously, just from that one comparison, this image is not to scale, right? So they figured that out. So then now how do we make it be to scale? Is there a way we could do it? Well, we could come down and pull up our own geometry sticky, right? And let's turn off measurement. And let's say we make and we probably want to make it a little bit bigger, right? And we make a circle. And we'll make this one be Earth. Oh, I meant to turn that off. I meant to turn off auto labeling. The labels get in the way when you're trying to do stuff, so let's turn that off. I don't want the label on. There we go. And maybe, oh, let's turn off that label too. All right, so there's Earth. And so let's measure this circle. It has a ratio of 0.85. So if I were to make Jupiter to scale, I need to have a ratio of the Jupiter needs to be 11.21 larger than this. So how am I going to do that? So let's see if we can first just draw our circle. So let's make a circle. Let's change the color to be red. And obviously it's going to have to be much bigger, right? So is this 11.2 bigger? Well, let's measure it. And that's not 11.2, right? But let's see, what would 11.2 be? So let's get a calculator out here. And what is 0.85 times 11.2? 9.52. So we're relatively close, but we can, and that means we need to make our geometry even bigger. Let's make the radius be, what did we say? Oops, I hit it. Sorry, I'm going a little crazy here. Oh, there it is. It's hidden underneath my thing. I need this. I need a 9.52. So I'm pretty close. And a nice thing about this, I can actually click this and go into adjust. Oh, maybe it's not going to let me go into adjust. So 9.52, so a little bit smaller. So we can get pretty close. So now this is a more realistic representation because they have the right ratio here, right? It's 11.2 bigger. So this is much more realistic of Earth and Jupiter than this image up here where they're bigger but not significantly. If you are comparing Earth to Jupiter using a circle to represent the difference, Earth's very, very small compared to Jupiter, where it's not so much here, right? And we could then go do the same thing with, the moon. The moon is significantly smaller than Earth even. So what's the ratio? Compare that. And so basically it's a really nice exercise, and having students come up with what a better scale and what a better representation might be.